universe of beer and music.
Hi, folks. DrTangent here, back with another venture into the multiple planes of existence when it comes to beer and music. And tonight we're going to be talking about off-pace, different, oddball events. Things that on the surface might seem very normal or even mundane, but once you get into them, you realize that there's something really different about this particular version. Beer-wise, we are looking at a Hefeweizen. This particular Hefeweizen is from Rusty Rail, a brewery in the middle of the state of Pennsylvania, in a place called Mifflinburg, Pennsylvania. And Hefeweizens are an old German style, pretty straightforward. They're a wheat beer. They're not a lager. They are a top fermented ale. We'll talk more if you want to know more about what makes a beer an ale or a lager. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know. I'll explain. But Hefeweizens are a little unique, but are very traditional. They're known for having a balance between banana and clove notes when you drink one, although there aren't any bananas or cloves included when brewing. That's just the magic of the brewing process and the particular yeasts and fermentation temperatures that are achieved during the brewing process. But Hefeweizens have been around forever. They're also known as Weizens or Weissbox, but they are somewhat similar to an American wheat ale, if you've had a wheat ale, but less hoppy and have more of the characteristics from the fermentation process, more of the yeast characteristics that stand out in a banana and or clove essence to them. Now, what makes this one different is that the crazy brewers at Rusty Rail have added peanut butter and also brewed it very big. When we say brewed it big, we mean it's a higher ABV than the typical Hefeweizen. Hefeweizens usually weigh in the 4%, 4.5% range. They're meant to be very easy drinking beers that you can have a couple of and enjoy on a hot day. This is Rusty Rail's offering called Fool's Gold, which is an imperial peanut butter Hefeweizen. And if you see the term imperial before, the style of a beer, whenever you're ordering a beer out, whether it's an imperial IPA or an imperial stout, or in this case, an imperial Hefeweizen, what it basically means is it's much higher than the typical alcohol by volume that you would find in that type of beer. So this one's a little different. It's a peanut butter, banana, and clove wheat beer that weighs in at 8%. Interesting note about Rusty Rail. It's a beautiful, beautiful place if you ever have a chance to go there. It is in the middle of the state of Pennsylvania, which is kind of in the middle of nowhere, but it is a destination brew pub. They actually have lodging at their brew pub that you can rent like a hotel room or a Airbnb. As you can see, it's a very active beer, substantial head, pretty clear, rather clear offering. You can see my hand through the beer. But it's really a very different experience, and I highly recommend it. But let's take a look at it. Yep, right off the bat, you can really smell the peanut butter. And some of you might say peanut butter doesn't belong in beer, but don't knock it until you try it. Explore a little. But beyond the peanut butter, you can get a little bit of the hops. You smell a little bit of like a earthy, floral, very traditional German hopping to it, and a little freshness to it. But when you taste it, that's when the magic really happens. Um, you get peanut butter up front, and you get peanut butter at the end. Uh, but it's not overpowering. It's not like Reese's peanut butter cup sweet peanut butter. It's like a fresh uh, roasted peanut flavor almost. Um, but in between, you do get a little bit of sweet banana and a little bit of spiciness from the clove notes that you would expect to get in a Hefeweizen. But it's truly unique, truly what you might not expect if you are expecting a normal Hefeweizen. And it is fantastic. It's really good beer. So what do we think about pairing with this song wise? You know, it's something that is at its core a very straightforward, traditional rock out type of beer, but it definitely throws you a curveball. So tonight, what we're going to do, a little deep cut here, throwing back about 40 some years to a band you might know. You might dredge up memories of some of their bigger hits. A band called Donnie Iris and the Cruisers, also very big in Pennsylvania, where they originated out in Western PA. They've had a couple hits that you might remember, things like Ah Leah and Love is Like a Rock. But tonight, we're going with the curveball, going with something a little offbeat, a little different, especially at the intro. We are going to look at Shock Treatment from Donnie Iris. All right, before we jump right into this, I've gotta say that this probably one of my favorite Donnie Iris songs, and it's in the top two, maybe top three songs with the most artistic use of laughter in singing. I'd put it right up there with How You Like Me Now by Cool Mo D, and the Gorillaz, Feel Good Incorporated, where laughter is incorporated into the actual lyrics of the song in a pretty impressive way. Now, the intro to the song is discordant and odd, much like what your first taste of a peanut butter Hefeweizen might be like. Discordant and odd, and might take a little bit of getting used to. But once you get into the groove, it's actually a really good tune. So let's get at it. Cheers. I just love that line. Um, Doctor said, "We're sorry, son. It's time you were leaving. Now pack up all your bags because we need your bed this evening." It's essentially a lighthearted song about a rocker who's just at the edge. He's frazzled. He's done. He is seeking a mental vacation through the use of psychiatric treatment, including drugs. Which, hey, that was the 80s. That was okay then. So there you've got it. Donnie Iris, Shock Treatment. Great tune. Going way back, I'll admit. There will be links below to some of the more popular songs that you might recognize from Donnie Iris and the Cruisers. Shout out to Donnie Iris, though. He is currently 80 years old and still going. Not terribly often, admittedly, but hey, when I'm 80, I don't plan on doing shit. So shout out to him. He's actually been at it for quite a while. He always had an interest in singing, and his mother actually really supported that idea. And by the age of 5, he was actually singing at weddings in his hometown in Western Pennsylvania. And by age 8, he was actually on local television singing and in big talent contests of the day back at age 8. However, when he hit puberty, everybody does, our voices start to change, get a little shaky, and he actually had taught himself guitar by then, but he gave up singing for a while when he hit puberty and took up the drums. But by his senior year in high school, his voice had changed back, regulated, and he was back into singing. You may not know it, even if you do recognize some of the Donnie Iris's bigger hits, but he actually, one of his first bands was the Jaggers, and they actually scored a number 2 Billboard hit with a song called "The Rapper." Um, you might not recognize it right off the bat, but I'll put a link below. Check it out. You might recognize it. I was pretty surprised to find that out myself. But like I said, in his solo career, Donnie Irish and the Cruisers days, his big hits were Aaliyah, Love Is Like a Rock, and the rather odd Do You Compute? Uh, this was a song that had been cross-marketed with Atari at the time, was getting into the home computer business, and it was cross-marketed for them for marketing purposes, and that helped it achieve a pretty good amount of radio success also. Um, but there you have it, Donnie Iris and the Cruisers. Odd, little offbeat, but really entertaining. Much like a peanut butter Hefeweizen. Uh, Point is, um, don't be afraid to try the different. Try something that might be built upon something that you know and uh, feel is pretty reliable, but might throw you a curveball in some way. Don't be afraid to step out of that comfort zone and experience something a little bit different every once in a while. If you like this video, give me a like, subscribe, give me a comment, let me know what you liked about it. If you didn't like it, let me know what you didn't like about it. Now, hey, I'm all ears. Uh, but also in the links below, um, if you use the app Untapp'd, Untappd, to chronicle your beer journey, feel free to join me on that. Look up DrTangent on Untapp'd, and you'll find me there. All of my beer reviews will be logged there of all the beers I drink on the channel, so you can get a little extra information that way too. Thanks a lot, and talk to you guys down the road.